are value-based questions which are in the box form in your books. Please see to it. First question is, let us discuss, and you have to write in your own ways, right? Is fighting the only way of resolving differences of opinion? What else can be done to reach a mutually acceptable settlement? Mutually means? Yes. Collaboratively. Okay. Acceptable means which is acceptable to both the parties. Settlement means patch up. So now, is fighting the only way? You can very well answer it. No, fighting is not the only way to solve all the problems, because see, this world is not only us. It is not this world. There is not only a single country. First of all, there are many countries constituting this world. Okay, and there are many matters which are otherwise will lead to only fight. And even during prehistoric times, the history is always a witness that although there are number of fights, but actually all those fights ultimately what they ultimately end in peace, some settlements. It means that if war will lead to settlement, if a fight will lead to settlement, that why not come to settlement first? Okay, it means that there are some ways, that is to negotiate the matters. Negotiate the matters. So these negotiations, negotiate means, what is the meaning of negotiation? To discuss the things. And these negotiations will also result in settling the disputes. The disputes can be very well settled if we will have discussion over the matter. Okay, in this chapter also, then you will also give the context to the chapter, from which chapter it is. In this chapter, when both the boys, they were fighting with each other, the match ended, or the fight ended in draw. No one came out to be victorious. Okay, but ultimately what has happened? Finally, when they tried to acknowledge good qualities of each other, finally they come to know that one can learn from other person also. So what it means? It means that when we will admire and we will acknowledge the qualities, good qualities of others, only then we will be able to come to the settling. We will come to the settling of matters, and at that time the settlement takes place. So with negotiation, by appreciating each other, we will be able to settle the matters. So these questions must be written in your fair notebooks. Next question is, have you ever been in a serious fight only to realize later that it was unnecessary and futile? Share your experience. In one paragraph, you will just share your experience. That I'm not going to tell, because it is solely based upon your experience. That whether you had a fight with your friend, why it happened, finally you later realize, no, I should not fight. Okay, you will write. And next question is, why do some of us find it necessary to prove that we are better than others? Will you be amused or annoyed to read the following sign at the back of the car in front of you? I may be going slow, but I'm ahead of you. So here a sign is, this language is written, I may be going slow, but I'm ahead of you. It means that one person is trying to show that he is superior than you. Is there always need to show? No, actually we are not. We are living a life. It is not like that we are running a race with others. And in winning this race, sometimes we turn out to be too rude, too harsh, that we hurt the feelings of others. Okay, so it is not necessary that we have to prove ourselves always. Okay, so yes, this kind of behavior definitely annoys others. Okay, because maybe the other person is not running a race with you. Okay, he's not following you, right? So what is the thing? The thing is that it is not always necessary to prove yourself that you are always the better one, right? Because time will ultimately prove it, who is the best one. Okay, and moreover, if today you are ahead of someone, or if today you have good qualities, tomorrow you will come to know that you need to learn from the other person also. And at that time, then it means life is you can say it is a system of appreciating and acquiring from each other. You need to appreciate others. You need to acquire from others. And only in this matter, what will happen that you will be able to get the best out of life. Okay. So that's it. Clear these answers? You will be able to write. Okay. Write almost one paragraph. These type of questions, value based, they usually you will usually have it in 4 marks. Okay. So don't write on for 4 to 5 lines. So the next chapter that we are going to start today is the open window. Very interesting chapter. Okay. About Mr. Nuttall, who was suffering from a problem of brain. The doctor has told him to spend some time in the open area in the greenery. So for that reason, he has gone to some other place where an old acquaintance, means he knows a person from very long time, and his sister has given him a letter of recommendation to go to that lady. But as the lady was not at home, her niece was there. And you know, some children, they are very naughty. What she was doing? She was playing a prank with Mr. Nuttall. Okay. And ultimately, Mr. Nuttall, what happened to him? This we are going to read in this chapter. Very interesting one. So, Frampton Nuttall had bad nerves. Bad nerves means he has some brain problem. He returns to the country for cure, calls on a family friend. So where he has come to countryside, to open area where there are fields, okay, grasslands, in order to relieve himself, and calls on family friend. You haven't brought your book. So the lady being busy upstairs, her young niece refers to a family mishap which focus on the open window. It means that she is narrating a story, that niece is narrating a story which refers to that open window, what happens to that open window. So let us see. What is the significance of this open window in the chapter? So, my aunt will be down presently, Mr. Nuttall, said a very self-possessed young lady of 15. In the meantime, you must try and put up with me. My aunt will be down presently means she's not well, she's not here. But later on, kindly, now you have to spend some time with me. Who is saying this? This is a young girl of 15 years. Okay, but right now, you must try and put up with me. It means that you will spend some time with me. Just a moment, please. Nuttall endeavored means put his efforts, he was tried to say something which should really flatter the niece of the moment without unduly discounting the aunt that was to come. So, Frampton Nuttall, he was trying to say something which will please that girl, and he will wait for her aunt to come. Privately, he doubted more than ever whether these formal visits of a succession of total strangers would do much towards helping the nerve cure which he is supposed to be undergoing. But privately means inside his mind, what was going on, that if he is visit to this succession of, you can say, total strangers, means now he is meeting different kind of strangers here, whether he will be cured of this nerve damage, whether he will be cured of this problem or not. So he was ultimately, he was in confusion what will happen to him, whether he will be cured or not. I know how it will be, his sister had said when he was preparing to migrate to this rural retreat. Rural retreat means this rural area. Why it is rural? Because it is far away from the city dwellings. Okay, there are no, you can say, rush of the city. Moreover, it is a countryside with open fields and grasslands. And one can, you know, that whenever you want to relax yourself, where you would like to go, you would like to go to hilly areas, okay, away from the hustle and bustle of life. So what he said, his sister was preparing him. Actually, his sister has told him, these two girls, what are you writing both? Close the notebooks. Yes, I come to know. So now his sister has prepared him to come here in this rural area to get relief of his nerve damage. You will hurry yourself down there and not speak to a living soul, and your nerves will be worse than ever from mopping. Okay, what she said that you will not talk to many persons there, because otherwise you will not get cure of this disease, of this, you can say, stress that you are suffering from. Mopping means to be cleared off. I shall just give you letters of introduction to all the people I know there. Some of them, as far as I can remember, were quite nice. She said, actually, I know some persons there, and for this reason, I'm giving you letter of introduction. Means you will show this letter of introduction to them. They will come to know that I have sent you. Okay. And ultimately, this will help you, this will assist you there. Frampton wondered whether Mrs. Suppleton, the lady to whom he was presenting one of the letters of introduction, came into nice division. Division means in this category. Now Frampton, he was wondering that Mrs. Suppleton, to whose house he has come, whether she is the lady and to whom he is going to present this first letter of introduction. He was thinking that whether she is a nice one or not. Do you know many of the people around here? But as Mrs. Sapleton was not there, the niece asked, do you know many people here? When she judged that they had sufficient silent communion. Silent communion means communication. Now, for quite some time, so they were silent communion means they were silently sitting in front of each other. Finally, the niece thought to start the conversation. So she said, do you know any people here? Frampton said, hardly a soul. Means I actually don't know a man here. My sister was staying here some 4 years ago. She gave me letters of introduction to some of the people here. Actually, he said that my sister, she was living here some 4 years ago. Now she has given me some letter of introduction to see some people there. He made the last statement in a tone of distinct regret. So the last line, letters of introduction to see some people there, he has explained it in a with regretful manner that he was not happy to come here. Then you know practically nothing about my aunt, pursued the self-possessed young lady. Self-possessed means she's always thinking of herself. Okay. So she said it means that you don't know anybody here. So she's clever. Only her name and address, admitted the caller. Frampton said, yes, I know only name of Mrs. Sapleton and her address. He was wondering whether Mrs. Sapleton was in the marriage or widowed state. An undefinable something about the room seemed to suggest masculine habitation. Masculine means male, habitation means living. So he was thinking that whether Mrs. Sapleton was married or she is widow, that her husband was dead. But when he is looking around the room, he feels that there is presence of some man, because some things related to a man are present in the room. This is the reason he thought that some man is also living here. Her great tragedy happened just 3 years ago, said the child. That would be since your sister's time. So here starts the prank. Okay. So the niece said, actually, some 3 years ago, when your sister was there happened a tragedy. Tragedy? Somehow in this restful country, spot tragedy seemed out of place. Frampton said, tragedy? What kind of tragedy? Actually, he thought that when people are quite living here in peace, without any rush in the city, in this area, he thought that tragedies won't happen to them. You may wonder why we keep that window wide open on an October afternoon, indicating a large French window that opened onto a lawn. Now she pointed out that window. She said, you know that why in this October afternoon, when it is quite cold, why you have kept this window open? No. It is quite warm for the time of the year, but has that window got anything to do with the tragedy? He said, actually, at this time of the year, it is quite warm, but is this window related to tragedy of Mrs. Sapleton? Now, she said, out through that window, 3 years ago today, her husband and her two young brothers went off for their day's shooting, and they never came back. in crossing the moor. Moor means open land that is covered with grass. Okay, moor to their favorite shooting ground. They were all three engulfed in a treacherous means dangerous piece of bog. Bog is wet, okay, wet and spongy ground. Okay, you know दलदल जिसको आप कहते हैं. It's a bog. And it had been that dreadful wet summer, you know, and places that were safe in other years gave way suddenly without warning. Their bodies were never recovered. See, she said, actually, you know, through that window, Mrs. Stapleton was sitting in. She looked at her husband and his two other brothers. They have gone to the moon. But there, what happened? They have gone for shooting. But what happened? That there in the bog, their bodies sank. And ultimately, their bodies, they have never been recovered. They have never come back. That was the dreadful part of it. Here, the child's voice lost its self-possessed note and become faltering. So, there comes means dreadful means very harsh part of the story was there. Now, the young child means that girl, niece. Okay, she lost its self-possessed note and it becomes faltering human. Means she was explaining it in a faltering way that this is really very big tragedy that has happened to her aunt. Poor aunt always thinks that they will come back someday. And the little brown spaniel that was lost with them, spaniel is a dog. And he said that small brown dog, it has also gone along with them and it was also lost and walk in that window just as they used to do. That is why the window is kept open every evening till it is quite dusk. So she said it is just because of this reason that this window remained open for most of the time, as she is always looking out of that window and she is waiting for her husband and his two brothers to come. Poor dear aunt, you know, dusk, evening, till late evening, she said it remains open till it is dark. Poor dear aunt, she has often told me how they went out. Her husband with his white waterproof coat over his arm, and Ronnie, her youngest brother. Her youngest brother singing Bertie, Why Do You Bound? Means this is the name of the song, as he always did to tease her because she said it go on her nerves. Now she is explaining the experience that her husband, he has gone, he was having a white coat hanging over his arm. He has gone out. See, you will imagine, you will see at the end of the chapter that what she is going to explain. It means that when all the three will come back from their hunting, shooting process, then what will happen? Mr. Frampton Nuttall, he will think that they are ghosts and he will run away from that place. Okay. Yes. So this is the prank she is going to play. And she said that her brother Ronnie, he is always singing this song and it is always teasing Mr. Stapleton. Do you know sometimes on still quiet evenings like this, I almost get a creepy feeling, means strange feeling that they will all walk in through that window. She said, you know that while sitting here alone, I always have the feeling that they will definitely come through that window one day. She said, I'm always having this kind of feeling. So she broke off with a little shudder. Shudder means like this. Okay, that something definitely will happen. It was a relief to Frampton when Aunt bustled into the room with a whirl of apologies for being late in making her appearance. So by the time what happened, Mrs. Stapleton enters the room. She was saying, oh, please, sorry. I'm really very sorry that I'm late. Actually, I know that you are coming, but I'm sorry. I hope Vera has been amusing you, she said. Vera means Mr. Frampton's sister. That she is quite good with you, amusing you. Sorry, that Vera is the girl. Okay, she is amusing you. Okay, that she is a good pastime with you. She has been very interesting. Mr. Frampton said, yes, she is very interesting girl. I hope you don't mind the open window. My husband and brothers will be home directly from shooting and they will always come in this way. They have been out for snipe in marshes. Okay. And they will make a fine mess over my poor carpet. So like you meant pork, isn't it now? She is explaining. She said, My brothers and my husband and brothers, they have gone for shooting from, and they are definitely coming through this side only, that I can come to know they are coming. It means Mr. Frampton is thinking she's mad, but actually she is telling the reality. The girl has told a lie. Okay, so, and she said that they have gone out for snipe shooting. These are special type of birds which are found in marsh areas. Okay, they have gone for shooting there, and you know their feet will be caked with muds, and they will put their muddy feet on my carpets and create mess again. Oh no, she said. She rattled on cheerfully about the shooting and the scarcity of birds and the prospects for duck in the winter. Now she was keeping on telling that how enjoyable the shooting of snipes is, but she said during this time of the year we are not supposed to get so many snipes. Maybe they will come after duck shooting. So to Frampton, it was all purely horrible. This Frampton, who was again earlier suffering from this problem of, you can say, brain, it was really horrible for him. He made a desperate but only partially successful effort to turn the talk onto a less ghastly topic. So he was trying to shift on the topic from this kind of strange experience. He was conscious that his hostess was giving him only a fragment of her attention, and her eyes were constantly staying past him to the open window and the lawn beyond. So he was thinking that Mrs. Stapleton was not paying him much attention, but her eyes were constantly fixed on the open window, that she is waiting for her husband. It was certainly an uncomfortable coincidence that he should have paid his visit on this tragic anniversary. Now, he was feeling that really it is wrong day that I have come, because it was the day when they have gone for shooting and did not come back according to Vera. But actually, on that day, they have actually gone and they will definitely come back. Okay. The doctors agree in ordering me complete rest, an absence of mental excitement, and avoidance of anything in the nature of violent physical exercise. Announced Frampton. Frampton told about his condition. The doctor has told me to avoid any kind of stress, just relax and not to do much physical work. Who labored under a tolerably widespread delusion that total strangers and chance acquaintances are hungry for the least detail of one's ailments and infirmities. Ailments and infirmities means health issues. Okay, health issues. Right? And just a moment, please. So Frampton, who labored under tolerably widespread delusion. Delusion means he was in the belief that this kind of person who is suffering from any kind of brain problem, he should not encounter these kind of, you can say, sudden expressions or sudden feelings. On the matter of diet, they are not so much in agreement, he continued. He said, for diet, I don't know what doctors prescribed me, but I don't agree to that. No, said Mrs. Stapleton in a voice which only replaced a yawn at the last moment. Then she suddenly brightened into an alert attention, but not to what Frampton was saying. Now, Mrs. Stapleton, she was a little bit yawning. Okay, she said, no, this is not actually the case. And finally, she saw her husband coming, and she said, finally, here they are. From the window, the three men were coming along with the dog. Just in time for tea, and don't they look as if they were muddy up to the eyes? Now, finally, she said, now they have come. Okay, they are finally ready for tea, but I don't think so that their body is entirely covered up with mud. Frampton shivered slightly, turned towards the niece with a look intended to convey sympathetic comprehension. Okay, he was totally in shock to see them. He looked at niece. Okay, he looked at niece. Means he was trying to understand what she is going to deliver, that this is reality or this is some strange experience. Child was staring out through open window with a dazed horror in her eyes, and he was also like open eyes looking. I was playing a prank. She was afraid that she was playing a prank and they have come, but Frampton Nuttall was thinking that they are ghost who has come back. Okay. In a chill shock of nameless fear, Frampton swung around in his seat and looked in the same direction. He immediately stood up from his seat and looked in this direction. That what has happened? He was speechless. In the deepening twilight, twilight means evening light, three figures were walking across the lawn towards the window. The three men and the dog were coming towards the window. They all carried guns under their arms, and one of them was additionally burdened with a white coat hung over his shoulders. This is what the girl has explained. Okay, that her husband is carrying a white coat. A tired brown spaniel kept close to their heels. Noiselessly, they neared the house. Now, slowly and gradually, what is happening? They are coming and coming near the house. And then a hoarse young voice chanted out of the dusk, I say, Bertie, why do you bound? And they heard again that song. Her brother was singing because he is always teasing Mrs. Appleton. Fenton grabbed wildly at his stick and hat. The hall door and gravel drive, the front gate were dimly noted stages in his headlong retreat. So he immediately picked up his hat, his stick, and he was immediately towards the gate because he thought that they are ghosts, of course. A cyclist coming along the road had to run into the hedge to avoid imminent collision. So he was such in a hurry, he did not look that another person was coming on a cycle and they were about to hit. And in order to save Mr. Fenton, he was hit in the hedges and has fallen there. Funny incident here. Okay, so here we are, my dear, said the bearer of the white Macintosh coming in through the window. Who was that? Who bolted out as we came up? Now, when his husband entered, he said, so finally here we are. We have come back. But he said, please tell me who was that man who came inside the house but immediately going out? A most extraordinary man, Mr. Nuttall. He could only talk about his illness, dashed off without a word of goodbye and apology when he arrived. One would think he had seen a ghost, Mrs. Appleton said. Actually, he is a man who is always talking about his illness. Without saying goodbye or saying anything, he left from the house as if he has encountered some ghost. I expect it was the spaniel. He told me he had a horror of dogs. He was once hunted into a cemetery, okay, where somewhere on the banks of Gangas by a pack of dogs and had to spend the night in a newly dug grave where the creature snarling and grinning and foaming just above him, enough to make anyone lose their nerve. So see, the girl, Vera, what she said, actually, she said he is afraid of smell. She cooked up another story. She said that actually Frampton was afraid of the dog because when he has seen the dog, he has shared an experience with me that at one time in cemetery where dead people are buried. In cemetery, he was, you can say he was attacked by a group of dogs. And in order to save himself from those group of dogs, Ritesh, so in order to save himself from those group of dogs, he has to spend the entire night in a grave, half the grave, and saved himself. So he said when he has seen Spaniel, he was reminded of that incident and he ran away. She is the cleverness of that girl. Okay. Romance at short notice was her specialty. And this kind of behavior was her specialty. Who is that of girl? Okay, very short thing, very short time she would take in order to make other ones feel that something wrong is going to happen. Okay, so this is very interesting story. It means that she is just cooking up the story in order to, you can say, in order to make the other person feel that something wrong has happened. But actually, what was that? That Vera was playing a prank. Okay, so tomorrow we will do the question answer. Saksham, it was interesting because you are sitting on front desk now. It is because of this reason.